Skippy the Wonder Chicken says they really missed the chance at balancing Bug or Ice. Ice being immune to Fairy or Bug being super effective against Fairy would have changed the game. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say, and that's a change that I would be okay with. If they reversed, if they basically, because I think Fairy resists Bug. So if they were like, okay, Bug is now super effective against Fairy and resists Fairy, that would go a long way to making the Bug type a lot better. Yeah, it's just like Bug is just weak against other types that are already very good because it's weak against a bunch of stuff. And it also is not super effective against a lot of good stuff. Skippy says, I see we've both watched the Wolfie video. I did watch that video where he was talking about fairy types and possibly reversing that. But unlike Wolfie, I don't feel like Ice needs to be powered up because Ice is very powerful offensively. So I think Ice just needs better Pokemon that exploit what Ice is already good at. Whereas Bug has gotten some really good Pokemon, and they're bad, right? Even though their stats are good and their abilities are good and they're cool and they do cool stuff, like Bug is just like a big part of why Bug is underpowered is not just that it's fundamentally underpowered, but also it drags down its good stuff, and also it's not given a lot of good moves on top of that. Harvest says, I'd like a Cold Iron Ice type move that is super effective against Fairy types specifically. That's something you could do because of, what is it, Freeze Dry? You could turn Ice into the type that has the like specific hate moves, right? And you could do like something like Cold Iron against Fairy. You could do something like you could just call it Extinguish against fire types. Like Brain Freeze, and it's something that's like super effective against psychic types, right? It's like that's something that you could do without changing what Ice is strong or weak against. You could give Ice these like very specific hate moves, and I think it would power it up, but not in a way that was overwhelming, right? Harvester says, yeah, making that Ice's niche would be dope, and yeah, Freeze Dry, thank you, yeah. So yeah, that's something like I've thought a lot about that, and I'm like, you don't need to change what Ice does. You just need to like design some new things for Ice to do, and Ice would be fine. But I feel like you can't do that with Bug. Like Bug is too weak to good stuff that if you wanted to power up Bug, you need to change that. Zemsi says no more Bug Pokemon. Yes, the way to fix Bug Pokemon is to Scarlet Witch this junk. Harvester says the great thing about making discrete Ice moves that do that versus a bunch of types is that even if you have a wide array of options for those, you still have to choose some, and the opportunity cost could make it impossible to prepare for everything. Right? It turns Ice into that sniper type, right? Where it's like if there's a Pokemon that's just like becoming very common, like that's let's say Zacian, right? It's like Zacian is too common now, and it's like you come in with the Ice type move that is like specifically good against Steel. It's like that gives you a way to snipe Zacian, but not Calyrex or like any of the other guys that are on top of the meta right now, right? It's like if you can very specifically bring that Pokemon, keep it in your party, and if you see a Zacian based group or whatever, although there's lots of good Steel types, you can bring that guy in. And if you miscalculate and they don't bring Zacian, now you're stuck with an Ice type, which is weak to a lot of stuff, right? So yeah, I think that you could really do that.